Hi, welcome to Stache Sports episode 44. Wow, 44 episodes. That's a lot of episodes so far. Even though there's a lot of snow out here still, it's starting to warm up a little bit outside, even though it's still cold. But today, we're mostly talking about right now, the Winter Olympics are happening in Milan, Italy. From this videos and the other videos, we'll be talking about stuff that's happened the day before or previous days, and not the stuff that's happened today, except for the USA hockey team. The USA women's hockey team won the group stage match today against USA Canada 5-0, and they looked really dominant in that game. They looked really good, even though there's one goal that that people think should have got called back or goaltender interference that the USA scored on. The USA is looking really good right now in the women's hockey and hope they can continue. Both them and Canada will move on to the next round. But let's hope the Team USA can continue to winning ways and bring more medals to the United States and get us up higher in the medal count. But the USA women's looking really good right now, moving on to the next stage in the Winter Olympics. The Sunday Winter Olympics that we watched were mostly the men's skating. So we saw the quad god help the team individuals in skating get gold medal for the USA over Japan, which was really good. Over in downhill skiing, the United States, Breezy Johnson, she won gold, but that wasn't the big headline of that story of that day. The big headline was when Lindsey Vonn, who's one of the better skiers and more well-known athletes and been in the Olympics a long time, who tore ACL a couple weeks ago, crashed, which she missed a turn or something, but she crashed and injured her knee, wrecked her knee even more. But yesterday she had good spirits about it, came out and said that she's recovering and thanking for everybody for all her support and stuff. But that was a scary moment when she crashed. But luckily, Breezy Johnson for the USA, her teammate, was able to get gold with 1 minute and 36.10 on a women's downhill final. That's pretty fast for a downhill final. That's pretty good for the women's final. And a German woman, Acher, came in second. And in Italy, Sophia came in third. But that's good. But the United States won gold in that. But let's hope Lindsey Vonn's okay. I know it might be Lindsey Vonn's last Olympics because she is getting older. But it'd be interesting to see if she can come back next time, which is not too old. But if it is her last one, she was one of the better downhill skiers in U.S. history, and she will be missed. She was one of the greater Olympics watching during the Olympic athletes. One of the great athletes watching during the Olympics. She will be missed if that was her last time competing, but we'll see. But we'll see what happens to that. She is getting older. We also watch cross-country skiing. Ooh. We also watched the men's figure skating. That was the most stuff we watched, even though we watched some of the Puppy Bowl before the halftime. Super Bowl, excuse me. We mostly watched the men's figure skating team. Mixed teams figure skating. For Madison Chalk, Evan Bates, Elon Milan, and Danny O'Shea, and the rest of them helped the USA win gold medal over Japan. That was a good event. The quad god came in last and helped the USA secure gold over Japan. It was a close event and it looked really good, but the USA won gold, which is good. I also like watching luge. I can't believe how fast they go on the team luge and how they move the ball so fast on team luge. On how they can move down that thing so fast and stay on that thing without falling off. It amazes me on all levels how they can stay on that little board on a luge without falling off. But we'll see what happens to that. Speed skating is also an interesting sport. I like watching speed skating because they're going really fast like hockey players, but they're running. I know I like watching track too in the Olympics, but speed skating is a little more interesting because they got to run and speed on those little skates they have without falling or slipping on the ice. In the men's final, Norway won. The Czechs came in second and Italy came in third. But that's interesting. So far, an interesting Olympics. We had a really good opening Olympic ceremony, but so far it's pretty good. On Friday it opened. So far, women's hockey on Saturday beat Team Finland 5-0. That's pretty good. They've been winning 5-0 and really high scores like today when they beat Team Canada 5-0. They've been really looking pretty good. So let's hope that women's hockey can do pretty good. Right now, we have a medal tracker. Norway's in first with 12 total medals, 6 gold, 2 silver, and 4 bronze. Italy's in second with 2 gold, 2 silver, and 7 bronze. A total of 11. Japan's in third with 2, 2, and 4, a total of 8. And the United States is in 3 with 2 and 3 and 2 with 7. 2 gold, 3 bronze, or 2 gold, 3 silver, and 2 bronze. And the USA has 7. The USA needs to get more gold medals and be on the medal count, but at least they're in third place right now when we have a lot more sports to come. I can't wait to keep watching all these sports. I like watching Olympics. I wonder what's going to happen tonight in the Olympics. But like I said, I did watch some of the women's game. They looked really dominant in that game. And looking like they're the team to beat. But both of them, Canada, will move on to the next round of the men's and women's hockey league. Of the women's hockey league, not men's. Men's doesn't start until Thursday. But men's, I like how we have the NHL players back. We have players like Jake Gensel that used to play for the Penguins. That's a pretty good player. We have Matthew Tkachuk and Brady Tkachuk, the Tkachuk twins. We have Austin Matthews. He's one of the hot pants for the Toronto Maple Leafs right now. We have so many more players that I'll get into later on, and I'll talk individually about them tomorrow before the first game on Thursday, I believe, Milan, Italy. But they're looking really good. But yes, I do know we have other teams like Canada, and we have people on our team like Canada. We have Crosby, that's right here, but he's Team Canada, and we don't, even though he's a Penguin, and we root for him in the regular season, we don't like to root for him when it's Team Canada. But if they can get what we got from that Four Nations last year, if that was an alternate to the NHL All-Star game, that was one of the better NHL All-Star games in quite a memory. If we can get that Four Nations thing like we did, that was one of the greater things to watch instead of the All-Star game, But that was one of the greatest things. I think it's going to come down between the USA and Canada again in a men's hockey, but it could be a surprise team that comes around, maybe like Finland or other teams, since like I said, they're allowed to use their NHL All-Stars now and have more teams that are more stacked. But we won't have Team Russia in there, so we won't have people like Evgeny Malkin or Alex Ovechkin in the Olympics because Team Russia is not allowed to be in the Olympics this year. But we have other people like Carlson, he's on a different team, not USA, wherever he's from, and we have other players that are on other teams. But I can't wait to see the Olympics start. We'll go watch the first game of group stage for the USA. I'm pretty sure it's on Thursday, but we'll talk more about that later. I do like watching the downhill skiing, all the skiing and stuff. They're so interesting to watch them jump, to watch a ski jump and see how far they can get, and see people get further and interesting. It's probably the different techniques they have to see how far they can get, but we do like watching that. We watched the ice skating last night, and Team USA is in second place right now. I believe they haven't ever been on Wednesday, or maybe today, that's going to go into that, but they came in second. But it looked really good. They had a couple mistakes, but they needed a fix. But it looked really good. But let's hope if that's not the end of it, they come in more in second, or whatever place they came in, and move up on the leaderboard. But we'll see. We'll see what happens to that. But it's an interesting time watching the Winter Olympics. It only happens every 5 years. And it's in Italy this year. And it's hosted by NBC. Even though a lot of the sports we see at nighttime already happened, we don't look at the stuff that happens, so we're surprised to see what happens. But let's hope the U.S. can get more gold and more medals tonight and get up in the medal count. The only NFL news is that the Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks offensive coordinator Clint Kubiak, who could be one of the next young hot rising coordinators for an offense, is going to be the next head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. That might be a good move for the Las Vegas Raiders if they can keep their head coach for one or 2 years and have him try to build something there. That's what a lot of these teams are missing. A lot of these teams keep getting these coaches and firing them after a couple of years if they don't do anything. You got to have them there for more than at least 2 or 3 years and see if they can try to do anything. But Clint Kubiak might be good as a head coach. I mean, he did help Sam Darnold won the Super Bowl. But that defense was so good in Seattle. So it's going to be interesting to see what he can do with Mendoza and the Las Vegas Raiders if that's where they go in the NFL draft at number 1. But congratulations to him on getting a head coaching job. Congratulations to him on getting a head coaching job. But we'll see what happens with that. But we'll see what happens. But that defense was really good. I mean, they made Sam Darnold look good too. I'm not saying Sam Darnold's a bad quarterback, but I mean, without good of a defense, a lot of people could have been a quarterback back there and look decent. But they did have a good system going, even though they won a Super Bowl. But that defense was dominant. Probably one of the better defenses we've seen in the recent Super Bowl history. I know a lot of people are trying to say that Super Bowl was boring because it wasn't high scoring. And yes, I do know field goal after field goal, punt after punt, it might not be entertaining. But like the old adage said, defense wins championships, and that definitely did happen, where the defense won the championship for the Seattle Seahawks, making them the second Super Bowl champions. But congratulations to Clint Kubiak on becoming the next head coach for the Las Vegas Raiders. Many successes to you and your family. But that's really the only NFL news. Right now we're in a dead period. But later on in videos, we're more talking about more when the draft comes up. I'll look more into the scouting combine to see who I think might be good NFL player and who I think might not be a good NFL player. The only quarterback right now that I think might be good is Mendoza, but we'll see. We'll see what happens to that. Next, we're going to be talking about men's college basketball because that's going on right now. I saw an article earlier today that the new men's basketball coach, the Florida State Seminoles, was offering free beer for students that came to watch the game tonight because Florida State's not that good this year. Florida State football, Florida State basketball isn't as good. They're 11-12 overall and 4-6 in ACC play, and they're playing top-ranked Virginia that's 12-3 and 9-2 in ACC play. I don't think that Florida State's going to be able to win this game. It's going to be a lot tougher for Florida State to win this game because they're going up against a top-notch team in Virginia, and they're not looking so hot. But maybe Florida State can upset, but who knows? I wonder if a lot of fans are going to go there if they're really offering free beer to the game. That's an interesting way to get people to go to the game. But I don't see Florida State beating number 15 Virginia. I think Virginia's going to beat them. Next, we got Pitt and Duke. Pitt's not looking really good this year. They're looking like Pitt's having one of the bad years this year. Pitt's 9-15 and 2-9 in ACC play. So I don't think they're going to be able to beat Duke, who's coming off a tough game and a tough loss by last second 3-point game to North Carolina. I don't think it's going to be a close game for Pitt tonight, and I hope this is near the end of Jeff Capel's time in Pitt. I know I shouldn't be calling for coaches firing on this podcast, but it is time for Jeff Capel to step down or get moved on from. Hopefully his buyout's not too much for the Pitt Panthers men's basketball, but Pitt Panthers men's basketball had not looked good for the last few years. So far under Capel, the Pitt's men's basketball team has only made one trip to the March Madness tournament and has not been looking good for the last few years. And with all this new stuff today, you can make your team look good with the portal and everything. And Pitt hasn't been doing that. I don't know if it's a coach or they don't have enough good boosters or what it is, but I do think it's time to move on from Coach Capel. But I don't think Pitt's going to win. Let's go to Arkansas and LSU. Arkansas is looking really good with old coach John Calipari that used to coach the Kentucky Wildcats. But now it's with Arkansas. He left him for another SEC team, which is kind of funny. But he's turned that Arkansas team around, making Arkansas look like one of the better teams in the SEC men's basketball this year. I've been watching some basketball to catch up, to start trying to research on my March Madness bracket so I can do good this year in my March Madness bracket. Tonight the game is Purdue and Nebraska. I think Purdue beats Nebraska, but Nebraska is looking really good in men's basketball this year. We got North Carolina over Miami. I think North Carolina wins over Miami since they just came off a big win over Duke. I think they continue their winning ways over Miami, but Miami keeps it close. Miami is 18-5 and 7-3 in the ACC play, so they're not so bad. Maybe they might be able to upset them, but North Carolina, like I said, is coming off a big win, and I think the momentum carries them to win tonight again. I think Vanderbilt beats Auburn. I think BYU beats Baylor. I think Wisconsin upsets Illinois. I think that's the upset of the night. Number 9 Illinois even gets upset. Stache Sports is calling it right now. But number 9, Illinois gets upset, but we'll see. I think Houston beats Utah, and I think Gonzaga beats Washington State. But we'll see. I do like watching college basketball. I like watching a lot in March Madness when the March Madness field starts. UCF's men's basketball team is looking really good this year. They might be able to make a deep run. They might be able to make a run at it in college basketball if they're allowed in. But they are looking really good. I wonder if they're going to have like 4 or 5 losses right now. So they might be able to get in since 64 teams get in to the final dance. But we'll see what happens to that. Hopefully the UCF Knights continue winning ways. And it'll be interesting to see what they do once the Big 12 tournament starts. If they can make noise in that too, like they've been making noise this year. But they have looking really good, which is why they probably gave Johnny Dawkins a new contract extension, which is well deserved. Johnny Dawkins is a good coach for the UCF Knights, for the UCF men's Knights. But we'll see what happens and hope they can do that. But I hope I can do that. Next, we're going to do our NBA picks. And yes, I know I might not do good in my picks. I might do bad in my picks, but I'm doing them anyway. I think the Knicks beat the Pacers because the Pacers haven't been really good this year. The Pacers have been down and bad after losing Tyrese Halliburton last year to a torn Achilles. They haven't been able to bounce like the Celtics have with Jaylen Brown and company, even though they lost a superstar. I know they lost a superstar, and it's going to be tough for Indiana Pacers this year. But I don't think the Pacers win tonight, and I think the Knicks beat the Pacers. I think the Clippers beat the Rockets because the Rockets. I think the Clippers beat the Rockets. I think the Suns beat the Mavericks. But the interesting thing about the Mavericks is I saw an article a couple days yesterday that said Mark Cuban might be interested in rebuying the Dallas Mavericks. Which is odd because a couple years ago, Mark Cuban sold the Dallas Mavericks to the new owner. So it'll be interesting to see if we can rebuy the Mavericks, and if we can, how much can he buy them for? If we can get a profit off of them, that'd be kind of interesting. If we can make a profit off of them, that'd be kind of interesting. But it'd be interesting to see if Mark Cuban rebuys the Mavericks, even though he resold them. But I don't think the Mavericks win tonight. I think that trade looks large for trading Luka last year, and I don't think the team's that good. And I think the Suns of Devin Booker is just a little too much for them tonight. And I think the Phoenix Suns at home beat the Dallas Mavericks. I think the Spurs beat the Lakers. The Lakers last night looked okay against the Thunder, but I think the Spurs win tonight, and I think Victor Yamba had the big night for the Spurs, but we'll see. I'm most excited about watching the Winter Olympics coming up. We'll be watching more Winter Olympics tonight. I can't wait to see what happens in the men's hockey. I can't wait to see the men's hockey start. I can't wait to watch the men's hockey start. But it'll be an interesting time of the year. We'll get to the Olympics a few years in a row. Italy is looking pretty good so far, and there's no bad reports coming out of the Olympics this year, which is good. Let's hope it can continue being safe and everything goes good up there. And the men's hockey team wins gold. And the men's hockey team wins gold. But we'll see what happens tonight. I do like watching the figure skating and the ice skating. It's fun watching the ice skating and seeing how fast you can go on those little skates and watching the other sports, especially luge or bobsledding, watching them go in their little sleds and be able to stay upright without crashing and not falling off those little boards when they're going that fast. But the Olympics are really interesting to watch, and they're looking really good right now. I did like watching the ice dancing last night, even though it was 90s theme and they had 90s music, which is decent music to do behind them. But all was good in the Stache Sports family. Since all was good in the Stache Sports household. Since everybody is now home and safe in our family. But Stache Sports is doing good. Even though it's cold and he wants it, even though it's cold, I like the cold weather and it's getting a little warmer, but there's still a lot of snow on the ground. But thank you for watching Stache Sports episode 44. Everything's going good on. Somebody tried to ask me about president in the video, but we don't talk about politics in this. We want to talk about sports. We'll talk more about the Olympics tomorrow and what I thought about the Olympics tonight and the current medal count. Good, congratulations to the USA Women's for winning 5-0 against Team Canada. Let's hope they continue it on. Tomorrow, we'll get more in depth on our Team USA men's hockey team and every player on it. I'll look it up to see what players we have, and I'll tell you my opinion on them because I like to watch hockey a lot and how I think we'll do good. I really do think this could be our year to win hockey, but we'll see. Thank you for watching Stache Sports episode 44.